ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. You are tuned into the Remix Morning Show right here on Black Power Media. Let me introduce you to me first. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and then I would like to introduce the rest of the morning crew, which is Jackie Lukman, Dr. Jared Ball, Jackie, wait a minute, that's Kim Brown, and no other than Kamal K. Franklin.
That's why you don't introduce yourself, because you messed it up.
Can you imagine how you are just raging on mute? Kim,
Kim is raging. Oh, that's right. Kim is still talking and on mute.
You're muted, Kim.
What's up, good people? While Kim gets her unmute on, what's up to the remixers in the chats?
What's up?
Yes.
Can you
Kim,
imagine?
you unmuted?
I don't know. It could go either direction. It could go either direction. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Can you imagine how chaotic the world would be if Jacqueline Lukman could clone herself and put her consciousness into anyone's body? Do you understand? Do you understand the chaos that would be unleashed upon this mortal coil? There we go. Thank you.
Engineering students to work on that. We need some young, enterprising Morgan State students to get on that right away.
We're working on that. We're working on it. When they come back from their NFT training, we're going to get them. We're going to get them all.
Man.
Oh well, then if they're the ones who are doing it, it's not going to work out well.
Yeah, no, we talked about that the other day. Morgan got a new NFT arrangement, workshop arrangement. So when they come back, some deal with some, one of these blockchain groups, and so students are going to get some workshops on NFT creation. But when they finish with that, though, Jackie, we're going to put them on
cloning Jackie.
Cloning at least yes. the political,
consciousness.
The consciousness. We're gonna clone Jackie's consciousness, and it's gonna be a lot of black people in rock and roll shows and mosh pits.
Powerlifting.
Look, we gotta start something.
Squatting white supremacy out of existence.
Deadlift patriarchy.
Deadlift.
I'm with this idea. See, I think this is the new frontier. This is better than the metaverse. You know what I'm saying?
This dude, bro.
I'm seeing a new logo, like a rebrand, like a picture of Jackie squatting with white supremacy and patriarchy.
No, you don't. You don't want the squat. You want the deadlift. The squat. That's the visual with white supremacy and patriarchy on your back. You don't want that. You want the deadlift.
The deadlift.
You want the deadlift. Yeah,
pick it up, smash them down.
Okay.
But just real quick, to anybody who sees this in their 20s, who actually does all this weightlifting, check your form and do it correctly, because it may look good in your 20s, but you're gonna be paying for it in your 50s.
Yeah,
so just
that what is that guy? I forgot the black guy's name who won the most Mr. Universe titles, and then like you said, in his 50s is basically in a wheelchair.
I think that's Lee Haney, and he used to outduel Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day, and took over, and then and had that. That was not the physique I ever was going for back when I was in the gym.
Was you going for more like Carl Weathers? What, like in
like a real life, Lord. In shape dude. You know what I'm saying? Not
where the pictures at, Jared? Where them photos at? We need to see that.
They didn't last long because my window was small. So
my window was small.
You got to catch it between 1990, because 1990 to 93, those Navy years when you out at sea in the gym all the time. I was doing it. But that 95 to 2000s, that college and graduate school bod caught up, and then you can see that's the pictures that are all over the internet now that I'm happy are still there as reminders, so I can stay motivated, because it got out of hand quickly. It was like, what?
It's not even so we met each other so much in person in the past, but it was every time I see the pictures, I was like, is that what Jared looked like?
Not then. No,
When I
when I
met
was
you,
Malcolm
you
X
were no when I met
grassrooting,
you.
no, I was Malcolm X grassrooting at a good 75, 80 pounds of over where I'm at now. So
Yeah, that
so
was a
you
little
would have
chubby.
seen me at a so that window anyway. My point is the window was small, but it was all right there for a minute. It was all right there for a minute.
Yeah.
Look at
Little
this.
do people know the amount of steroids you have to take to look like
Oh.
Carl Weathers and Lee Haney and Ron Coleman.
Oh,
and-
absolutely.
yeah, that's not just natural lifting. That's your muscles
No.
grow that way just from lifting, and then
And
you
it's
take
also
all
a
these-
full-time job.
exactly. Then you take
It's
all
8
those
hours a
steroids
day.
and you lift all of this other additional weight that your body actually cannot handle. Kind
That's
of
right.
weight Lee Haney was lifting, and yeah,
Yeah.
in between
You're
the chemicals and lifting a car.
They're
just
literally
real
doing
quick.
that for 6 to 8 hours a day. So
Oh,
and then in the gym lifting, and then they
Right.
do the incredibly the diet. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a full-time job, and then you need that cocktail, that shot in the butt.
Yeah, you don't want
That
that.
HGH, baby. Get some of that HGH in you. The human growth
And now
hormone.
you can see them all those people like Joe Rogan and The Rock, they're all big, but they're all like stretched out and veiny and bald. So obviously I didn't need help with that, but I'm like, that's not the I'm good.
You don't want that.
You know.
But actually, also give the young folks the advice. I mean, not just lifting and trying to stay in physically good shape in your 20s and make sure your form is good. When you are moving furniture, okay, when you are doing average, ordinary things, you have to make sure your form is good. You need to protect your back now, young people. Protect it now. You don't want to have a bad back because you helped move a couch up 2 flights of stairs when you was 25 and somebody.
I got it. When you 40 years old, you can't get out the bed.
And you don't want that visit from the doctor where he or she or whoever is looking at your chart and then looks at you with confusion and is looking at your back x-rays and your MRI data like
Why'd you get out of bed in the morning?
And then they tell you you're in for a lifetime of pain management.
Jeez Louise.
That's you don't that's not the but that look is it's like when you're on a plane and the flight attendant looks scared. That's like you don't want that. Like I need my flight attendant looking secure in the turbulence. You know what I'm saying?
Not in mid-flight, sitting down, buckling up, being like,
right. Looking at each other like
heart service would now be stop.
Right. And then here comes the doctor talking about what is like you're not supposed to be looking like that. You're supposed to have all the answers and be clear. Like
smiling, right?
Not
grimacing.
Like what is going on? Anyway,
Oh,
so yeah. But right on. Everyday practice is certainly if you're in the gym, get that form right.
With
can I say something before we get to the before we get to the real business of the day? Can I say a couple things real quick? One,
say the things.
Can I just say very quickly? I am extremely pressed by this. Lisa Fischer,
the singer,
liked the singer.
Oh,
liked the tweet I put out when I reposted our classic interview, and she followed me back.
Hey, can't tell Dr.
Lisa
Ball.
Fischer.
What?
Who's Lisa Fischer? So
Kamal, get him out of here.
Kamal's doing what students do who do other students a favor by asking a question a lot of other people are actually having. So Lisa Fischer is a legendary singer.
Legend.
She is.
Give me a song.
How Can I Ease the Pain?
Was her big hit. But she back in the 90s, but she sang, but she has intentionally refused stardom and stayed as a backup session singer. So you've heard her voice probably on everything from Luther Vandross tracks to Sting tracks to Chris Beatty tracks to whatever form your music is, you've heard her voice. And when you hear her perform solo, it is one of those moments where you are wondering how in the hell is she, and then you're like, well, she chose to stay in the background because her voice there is nothing like it. I think it's my favorite, public voice. I think there's nobody that does it better than her.
And Kamau, she's on that 20 Feet of Stardom documentary that's on Netflix, which you should definitely watch if you haven't seen it already.
Yeah. Look at him Googling her on
He's
mute. He's like, what is Jared talking about? She is bananas good, and she's an incredible person. And the interview is now up on Black Power Media. So go check that out, that classic interview, and enjoy yourself and do yourself a favor. And when we come back, if we have time, I can maybe talk about maybe with Ear Doctor on set, because I made a list of her liking the tweet made me think of what is my best having interviewed them band I could put together. So in other words, of all the people I've interviewed, I've put together a band that I think would be amazing. So maybe we could talk about that when we get another moment. But I see the Ear Doctor is getting his hair done.
Again.
I think he's in a new spot.
What here? I can't talk about bald people though.
Sisters, you do not have to put that creamy crack in your hair. Listen to me. I know. All right, I'm in the salon right now.
You in the salon? You in the salon talking to women like that?
Are they massaging your scalp? Are they massaging your scalp? What are they doing?
I mean, yeah, nice head massage. But yeah, we in here talking. We talking. You know, I usually be in a barbershop, but we came in here to talk top 5 today. So since you were talking about bands, Kim hit me up and said, "Yo, what about bands? What about R&B bands?" So I said, Okay, and Kamau, don't feel no type of way. I believe she was a one-hit wonder.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you not making me feel bad.
But anyway,
even though you tried to make him feel bad, you tried to make him feel bad.
Who don't know who Lisa Fischer is?
You know what I'm saying?
Well, how is it that 3/4 of us knew who Lisa Fischer was except Kamau?
Because y'all nerds.
Hey.
I am a music nerd. I happily accept that. You damn right.
I
know who Lisa Fischer is.
I was thinking Lisa Stansfield or something. Anyway,
and that's exactly what went through my head. I was like, Lisa's been around the world, and I. It's like, right. That's not Lisa Fischer. Sorry.
Anyway, let's get the break, man.
Remix.
Oh, my bad.
What up? What's good, everybody? Welcome out once again to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and right now you are tuned in to that Boom Bap Breakfast. So make sure y'all hit that like button, that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also go to blackpowermedia.org. We got some merch up there, some dope shirts like this, so go check them out. And at the same time, hit that notification bell so you know all the dope stuff is coming down. And big up to all the Patreon members. Just dropped some new stuff in the Patreon, so go check that out. Now, let's get right to it. We're talking about top R&B bands. So before we do that, I want to give a shout out to give some love to some of the bands that I didn't put on this list as my top 5. Big up to SOS Band. Big up to Full Force. Big up to Jackson 5. Big up to Frankie Beverly and Maze. And big up to the Gap Band. And if we talking new, big up to Sonic Soul. That's the joint with Anderson .Paak and what's that boy name? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's the most newest band right there. And let's get to it. All right. So I want to start off real quick. Let's go to no other than the Isley Brothers. One of the best R&B bands that ever do it. And they still doing it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to put them in there. Next, we are going to go to no other than Kool and the Gang. That's right. Kool and the Gang. Come on, man. They came with it each and every time with their songs. They had dope albums and all that. All right. Next, we're going to take it up to the now. Mint Condition. That's right. I got to say Mint Condition. Listen, they've been doing it for a while, and we're talking about bands. It's not been too many bands in this newer era. So I got to throw Mint Condition in there. Next, I'm going to take you to, that's right, the Commodores. We got to say the Commodores. They've been, man, listen. Y'all know how many dope songs and singles they got. Come on. So next, we got to go to ones that ended it all, and as we got us put them in there, the kings of the bands, Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's right, Earth, Wind, and Fire has to be at the top. I would put them Earth, Wind, and Fire, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Earth, Wind, and Fire, but we're going to name some other bands. Big up to Earth, Wind, and Fire, all the bands I shouted out. Now let's take it back and talk about what they think. Ain't like it matter, but you know, why not?
Not bad, but you missing a couple.
Oh.
That wasn't bad, but you missing some.
List.
You missing some in.
It's respectable, though, right?
Well, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Commodores, Cool in the Gang. I'm down with those.
Isley Brothers?
Yeah.
Isley Brothers
R&B
definitely, especially because they taught Jimi Hendrix as well how to play. They gave him his chops, so you got to add that. But you left off.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that was one. Parliament Funkadelic.
Wait a minute, we said R&B band. We didn't say
R&B, not funk bands.
Come on, get it together.
I mean, he's stretching. But I
don't think I have any complaints this time.
Thank you.
Then I might have to rethink my list. My bad. You're right.
No, who else you got? Who else you got on yours, Jack?
My list was Sly and the Family Stone, the JBs who backed James Brown, the Funk Brothers who did all the Motown stuff, the Meters. Good God, the Meters, one of the baddest bands ever, and of course, Mama's Biscuits. I mean, duh. But you know what? I missed the R&B part of my mind, so that's my bad. So
I don't like Kamal's face when I said Mint Condition though.
You're crazy on that, Kamal.
Top five?
Maybe not top five.
I mean, come on. What's the last band besides these 80s bands that's been doing it for a while?
Tony.
Thank you. That's I was wondering. I can see how they wouldn't make the top five.
Yeah, not top
I think
five.
Considering the other
Ohio Players.
I think of Ohio Players as funk, not R&B.
You're right.
Yeah.
But the bands are heavily weighted towards the 70s and 80s. Like the concept of the R&B band is something that has eventually gone away in the 90s and into the 21st century.
True.
So that's why I got to throw Tony on there. Also, honorable mention to Sade's band Sweetback because they are thorough.
Yeah. And I'm going to get back to, I got another, I'm going to stay in the salon and I'm going to give y'all some more bands that's more globally like bands that's doing it instead of just R&B. So some of the people y'all might have named might be on my other list.
Don't let those ladies give you some gospel bands because they'll do it. Don't do it.
But don't leave yet, Ear Doctor, because while we're here, let me just show you my interview band. This is the band that I would be comprised of people I have interviewed over time. Billy Kilson on drums, legendary jazz drummer. DeHondo Smith, who you've all seen on the remix, who could play bass or keyboard or lead guitar or rhythm guitar for us. Lisa Fischer, of course. Moo Fresh. Amiri Baraka, rest in peace. And Go-Go Mickey on percussion.
Hey, rest in peace.
I'll step out there on that one. I'll step out on stage with that band right there. And I haven't even got to the MCs.
I was about to say.
I count Moo Fresh a little bit, but
I don't have an interview band, but I definitely got an interview rap supergroup for sure.
Right on.
Okay.
Yeah, we should.
And I did look up Lisa Fischer. I was like, oh, that song. My bad.
That song.
But look at her. But look at her catalog of songs she has been on, and then look at what people have said about her, and then listen to her, and then watch 20 Feet from Stardom, and then come back tomorrow and apologize.
I'm out on that note. I catch y'all next break.
Thank you,
All right, so
that was lovely.
We don't have Chris Rock on air with us, but we do have a map. So let's slap that instead.
Damn.
Open hand, slap it.
Oh,
Lucy, yes, this man did, along with Kalanji on occasion. Go check that out. BPM, check out the channel. We got Moo Fresh there. You can go check out our more other classic interview, which is also on the channel from early several years ago, where she freestyles with my man. Actually, I don't know what name he was going by that day, so I'll just leave it there. But my man in studio was so we got a number of Moo Fresh interviews while you mess with. Got an extensive one that we had done with the Real News Network that is now gone. But yeah.
Real quick, Beach Motivators in the chat talking about we from the DMV and didn't mention backyard band. Go-go bands. It's a separate genre, darling. Go-go is its own genre. We don't mix genres here, okay? No. Now we can do a top 5 go-go bands. I'm with that as well, but nah, go-go don't belong in this.
Go-go is not in the R&B category.
So one day, speaking of that, we will come back and share a story one day where I shared a stage at Howard University with Big G and Melissa Ford.
Oh, damn. What did that happen?
What? Genghis and
Kamal once again over there looking like it went over my head. I don't know what happened. I don't think this does not pertain to me.
I'll just carry on with the show.
There's probably a number of people asking questions about that too. But
Kamal. No. So for people who may not know, for people who don't know who Big G is, like Kamal Franklin, Big G is the lead talker for the Backyard Band. And for people who are not familiar with go-go bands specifically, he is most famously known for his role in The Wire as Slim Charles.
That's right.
Well, that was helpful. I like that. Yeah.
Thank you. You're welcome. See, Jared just thinks that everybody know what Jared know, and he'll just say it and just keep moving. It's like, wait a second. We need some context here. Give us some clarification.
And let me
came from Brooklyn, except for doing the butt. The go-go didn't make it that far out.
Oh God, Jesus!
On purpose, yes.
And that was a poor representation, and Kim is right, on purpose.
Wait. Which is actually, hold on. That's a little false. That's a little false because Junkyard Band was briefly signed to Def Jam. So what was it? 1984 and 1985. Reggae making bombs. Yep,
the word.
WOR. WOR. That was on Def Jam. That was actually on Def Jam.
And when Jay-Z did that track, 3 whatever it had, 5 in the morning, we come back to the house, he got that from Rare Essence because they were label mates for a brief period of time. And I forgot where I was. I think
he just stole that. And can I tell y'all something real quick? Early in my
somebody told a better version of that. That they tried to clean that up on the YouTube streets.
They did try to clean that up, but I'm not gonna lie. So when that song was out and I was doing my internship at Power 99 in Philadelphia, I was Kobe Cole's sidekick, as it were. Jay-Z came into the station and did an interview, and 20-year-old me asked him about the part of the Rare Essence song that he bit, and I said bit. And that nigga's face, if y'all could have seen the look on that nigga's face, so that nigga got tight immediately, dog. He got tight immediately. And it's like, I'm sorry, what you think? I'm not gonna ask you about some go-go shit that you stole? Like, what?
So you pre-ether asked him how many Rare Essence lines gonna come out your fat lip?
Hold on. But I got Hove again. I got him again. So I interviewed Jay-Z again when the Blueprint came out, right? And I asked him specifically, I said, in H to the Izzo, when you talk about I was herbing them in the home of the Terrapins, what exactly are you referring to? and I made him specify that he was talking about Cambridge, Maryland. And there's no disrespect to Cambridge or the Eastern Shore, but don't act like he was
on them Cambridge streets.
Right. Come on, Jackie. Like Jay-Z out here making it sound like he was running shit in District Heights or Capitol Heights or Largo somewhere. No, sir. No, that was not it at all.
Wow.
Damn.
Now I can find that easily. I can find that. That's on the internet. That lives on the internet.
We should definitely get a replay of that. That
I love it.
That would be hilarious. All right, look. So Ear Doctor is telling us we got to get to the news.
Okay. News.
The clock watcher is keeping us on task. Does anybody want to get us started this morning? Anybody in particular want to get us started this morning? I do want to just say again, if you haven't heard it, good people out there, make sure you check all of them, but Jackie's most recent commentary that shamed all of us for having talked about Chris Rock and Will Smith for even 5 minutes.
Shit, I ain't
was like, all of you are
I
whack.
did not shame
All of you are whack.
I did
It's
not
so much
shame.
more important.
No,
I'm just
I did
playing.
not
But it's
shame.
seriously,
I put my head down.
I did drop my head a little bit, but it was
Yeah.
just an important reminder that this, because it is funny when I went down my YouTube, whatever the scroll, whatever, it was Will Smith, Chris Rock, Will Smith, Chris Rock. So and so's take on Will Smith, Chris. So and so's take on Will Smith, Chris. So and so's take. This is then you got the fighters breaking down each frame. This is why Chris Rock didn't get knocked over, because look at the base that Will Smith set before he got up there. And I was watching all of it. I'm not gonna front. I was watching all of it. I was like, ooh, because I said Chris Rock didn't even get staggered. I need to see what the technique was. No, anyway, so Jackie came back and tightened us all up and said, Biden is being shady and your government's being shady, and stop getting distracted. Anyway,
look, that was from my monologue on By Any Means Necessary from Monday. So that was not a response to what anybody said Tuesday. I was over all that shit. Tuesday afternoon. I'm like, y'all, come on. These niggas don't give a shit about none of y'all. Why do you care this much about them? So anyway, and speaking of news, this is kind of why. So I've been kind of sitting on this story for a minute. But as you know, we have been, By Any Means Necessary, speaking of By Any Means Necessary, we've been booted off YouTube, right? Finally got booted off YouTube. And this is going on in what I'm calling the Red Smear 2022. This is very much like the McCarthyist era from decades ago. Only it is worse. And I'm not saying this because I was around then. People who have been around then are telling me, no, Jackie, this is worse. This feels worse. This is worse. This is worse. So this is what happened with us being removed from YouTube. This was not just YouTube is doing a scan and like, oh, we got to do what the president says and kick all the Russian state media off of the platform. No, this is why this is a very dangerous period of time now, because this woman, Haley Fuchs, this is the author of this piece. She sent us an inbox message on our Facebook page and asked very nicely, hey, I see that you set up an account on Rumble. And I'd like to know, I work for Politico. I'm a journalist for Politico. I'd like to know why you moved to Rumble. Just really would like to get your story. This is my email. I really love to hear from you. Blah. Very, very cordial, very, very, professional, light, and all that kind of stuff. We don't respond because we decide this is going to be a hit piece, because otherwise, why would they even be? Come on. So we looked her up and we looked up her previous content, and it's all anti-Russia, anti-Putin, State Department, blah, blah, blah. So we're like, nope, we're not talking to her. We're not going to help her write this hit piece about us. So this article comes out. Her article comes out on the 24th. She leads with forced off mainstream platforms. A number of radio shows associated with Russian state-run media have found a welcome home on Rumble, the video sharing platform favored by conservatives and the far right. She goes on to say that the 4 shows from Sputnik started posting on March 14th. That's actually not true. Around the time that Google moved to ban Sputnik. That's not true, because we were still on YouTube. We did not have a show on Rumble. We didn't have an account on Rumble on 14th. She talks about the things we talk about on our show. On the show By Any Means Necessary, which was streamed on YouTube on March 14th, by the way, hosts claimed that the U.S. was the true aggressor, in quote, as if that's not true. Bemoaned anti-Putin hysteria as if that's not true. It is true. And suggested the U.S. in fact wanted to invade Ukraine to sway public opinion in favor of America. True, absolutely all true. She says of John Kiriakou that he is a former CIA officer convicted of leaking info to the media. She does not mention what he leaked, which was information about the CIA torture program, the illegal torture program. This heifer left that out. Then she says, she tells the truth at the end. She says political misfits and by any means necessary continue to main YouTube channels. Then she points to the fact that she's the one that got us removed from YouTube. She says, however, after this reporter approached Google, which owns YouTube, about their accounts, a YouTube spokesperson said that it had blocked both of their channels. And then she goes down further to say that she reached out to Twitter and Facebook. Yeah, they remain active on Twitter. The platform said it would reduce Russian state media's content visibility. They had already identified all our shows as Russian state affiliated media. And she in this article, she makes a big deal about trying to smear us with, these right-wing wackos that maybe started Rumble or have their content on Rumble, but she's the one who got us removed from YouTube. Oh my God! So, what does this mean? What does this mean? Someone who works for a alleged journal. Now, you can disagree with what we say on By Any Means Necessary all day, every day, all you want to. But you can always just turn it the fuck off, right? You do not have to listen. We are in a situation now where the scribes for the State Department, because these people are not journalists, they are literally just regurgitating the State Department line, and they are helping to censor journalists. So,
congratulations.
It's like if this is how you are going to make your bones, and I guess this is how you have to make your bones in a State Department run media environment, then yeah, like kudos to you, I suppose. But here's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, we all know that sometime down the line, all of what we have been saying on By Any Means Necessary and all these other shows about what the U.S. government has done, is doing, will do, it'll be confirmed. I mean, we're just talking about history, the history of this country, and the facts that have been well documented about what the U.S., the EU, and NATO has been doing in Ukraine and all around the world. We're just talking about the facts. And here is someone who is paid to be a journalist who is helping to silence people who are talking about the facts. So this is the environment that we are operating in now, which is why there are some things that I don't say on this platform, because I don't want this Black media platform to be targeted and removed. And that is
whoa. What do you mean there's things you don't say on this platform? You should say everything.
Well, I mean, fuck it. Nobody's going to be mad if I say fuck that lady who was the lawyer for that lady yesterday. I mean, yeah. But
you can say fuck this reporter who's not a real reporter who's
talking about fake news. That. I can say that. But I think it has to be, we have to be aware of the possibility that there is a very real danger that Black left media is being targeted.
Watched, targeted, and will probably be also taken off the air. And in spite of all of that, we should continue to say everything that we want to say, because to modify our speech and to change our speech means that they win. So if they stop short of taking us off the air, and if they get us to modify our speech in order to fit into an acceptable bubble, then we've lost already. So we should say the truth as we see, and even if we have disagreements amongst ourselves, it's the truth as we see it, that we think are going to further our people's struggle and get more information out there. That's our role. And then if we have to find a new platform, as we are semi-looking, we also joined Rumble, and it was like one of those tough decisions around, do you know who's on Rumble?
Right.
It's like, who's, but it's like the platform is neutral, but that's the space where the right wingers ran when Google and got, started going to them. But it was like, okay, this is another alternative platform. And the idea is to get that message out to as many platforms as possible. We're also looking into setting up some independent platforms so that just in case, right? So all of that is within the realm of possibilities. But most importantly, we got to speak the truth as we see it.
I mean, I am not. What I am not saying is that I will stop telling the truth, because I see folks that you want to protect what you have built. And you also don't want to speak for other people who don't have the decision to say, okay, well, yeah, I'm down for, getting kicked off of whatever. That is not a position I want to be in. So yeah, I will continue to tell the truth about the politics and the events. But I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that because there is a very real witch hunt against Black leftists who are affiliated or associated with Russian sponsored media, that they, meaning the state, are going after those people also. Because it's not just removing content from shows, they're also censoring people associated with those shows. So I don't know if that makes any kind of sense, but anyway, look, this is a, I don't know, this is something I have never experienced before. It's not anything that is going to stop me from being a journalist and reporting the way I do. Yes, I do find myself when I'm posting on Twitter, on YouTube, personally, kind of being, well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I shouldn't say it that way. But as far as the work is concerned, oh no, the narrative, I'm not changing what I say about what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. I'm just saying that we have to be really realistic. Well, that's not what I mean. We have to understand that people's right to exercise free speech is being curtailed. And it's the so-called white liberal journalists who are helping the state do it.
As always.
And it is sometimes
they fulfill their historic role, which is to say this is how far you can go, and any further than that, we're here to discipline you. We're here to keep you in check, because our real role is either to swallow you up within our ethos or whatever, or to get rid of you if you pass the line that we've accepted as the right line. And so if you talk too much about anti-imperialism, particularly when it's happening, you can talk about it in retrospect, 30 years later, 40 years later. This is my analysis of the situation. But as it's moving on the ground, yeah, you're going to get targeted and potentially thrown off the air. But that's just the realm of that's just the life that, once you got those politics, that's just the life you live.
Yeah. And I mean, look, I'm just being real. I honestly am. This is something, and especially now that, I am, here by myself. This is I've never experienced this before. So it is kind of frightening. I know people, I just visited my friends who work for RT, who are moving to another fucking country because they cannot afford to live here anymore and face the kind of repression that they have without their job. And they're not going to be hired by anybody else because they have, so I don't want to sit here and act as if this is not a concerning moment. It is a concerning moment. At the same time, it is an instructive moment. And it lets me know that I was on the right track in the first place. I'm on the right side. I was on the right side of the barricades in the first place. Is not going to stop me. As a matter of fact, John Mubarak is sending me to Venezuela in a couple of weeks. So it just this is the kind of repression. When we talk about repression, it's not like an esoteric thing anymore. I think it is the point I'm trying to make. When we're talking about being targeted for, excuse me, your anti-imperialist views, if people didn't get it last year when Hood Communist was taken off Twitter unceremoniously, no warning, for criticizing U.S. imperialism, now I hope you get it. Now I hope you understand. I hope you understand why it is so important for us to be anti-imperialists and not just, be kind of wishy-washy about it and think that, oh, this is something that'll pass. This shit ain't gonna pass. People are gonna die. unless we really put an end to this. So there you go. There's my
well. Speaking of putting an end or waiting on death, there is this attempt apparently to get rid of Clarence Thomas from the Supreme Court, and I am, of course, opposed to this because any Black representation, any Black visibility anywhere is Black power and a sign of strength. So we don't want to have we can't because we can't possibly risk losing one and replacing, getting one in Ketanji Brown Jackson and then losing one in Clarence Thomas. But apparently some of these folks are interested in that because recent reports have shed light on G.D. Thomas's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Some are now calling for Congress to impeach her husband. The House last impeached a sitting Supreme Court in 1804.
1804, yes. Okay.
Yeah. But the Senate did not convict even then. So,
good luck with that. Who are these people, Jared? I need more details. Whom?
The revelation of Jeannie Thomas's text messages with the former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows almost immediately drew calls for an event not seen in more than 2 centuries: the impeachment of sitting Supreme Court justice. Late Thursday, the Washington Post and CBS reported that Thomas, the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, exchanged more than 24 text messages with Meadows as she pressed to overturn President Donald Trump's electoral defeat in 2020. The messages, 29 in total, do not directly reference Clarence Thomas, but they have fueled ethics questions. Even before the text messages became public, Thomas faced calls for his retirement or resignation as the New Yorker, the New York Times, and other media outlets illuminated his wife's political activism. So I'm not, AOC threatened Thomas with impeachment if he refused to resign. See, she is doing the people's bidding. I don't know why all these radical leftists keep criticizing AOC.
Can't you introduce a resolution or something? Like, start the paperwork, honey. Just don't stand there and say something.
Wait a minute. The squad is activated, apparently. On Twitter, they got busy on Twitter, boy.
They activated on Twitter.
Retweet if you agree that Jenny Thomas has to go. Retweet if you agree.
That's it. I bet. Wait, I want to see if that's in the next line. No, it's not in the next line. But I bet you're right there. I bet it's right there. So anyway, but that's who's doing it. It's the lunatic radical left of the New York Times and the New Yorker and the squad who are attacking this righteous Black man.
Hit me.
And his white wife, and trying to get rid of him as we get this new Supreme Court justice, a Black woman and her white husband coming in, and it's just not a fair. I just stand against that.
Shut up, Jared. Listen, every time I hear Clarence Thomas, I hear Thurgood Marshall, right? Because it's like, if you want to talk about a slap in the fucking face for Justice Thurgood Marshall to have sat on that court and then he died and H.W. Bush going to appoint Clarence Thomas. Like, this is good enough, right? A reasonable facsimile, right? But
they both agreed. What? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say this. Listen, Jenny Thompson, like Virginia Thomas, like this is like the latest. Like, this is what this lady does.
Yeah, she gangsta be.
I mean, gangsta as fuck come out, and everybody knows it. And I can't cite them, unfortunately, because stoner brain. But there have been a number of cases that have come before the court in which she has had some sort of peripheral involvement, and Clarence should have been recused himself from a number of cases because of his wife's political dealings. So this is just the latest, and this is just probably the latest example of y'all not about to fuck with this white woman. This white woman apparently is Teflon. Like she can do whatever the fuck she wants with no consequence.
And let me just say, Clarence Thomas has never recused himself from a case involving his wife. But what did Ketanji, I'm a Black woman with locks, so I'm down for the people, Brown Jackson, say when she was asked how she would rule on the Harvard anti-affirmative action case? What did she say? I will recuse myself because she attended. You got to be kidding me. So the one case where it might be like, okay, she might be able to make a difference, that kind of matters for Black folks. She's like, nope, I'm gonna step out.
can't. I don't. That would be, that would be showing my biases, right? As though every single member of the Supreme Court does not have overt biases that they rule on shit all the time.
But it's a perfect reflection of the acceptable politics of this country. Hard right wing, soft moderate. That's the anything past that is a true danger. So for us, AOC gets to be like the so-called radical left that the right gets to bang on, where we're like, that's radical to you? That's the left? That's what you think is? That you think the most far out position that someone can take in terms of having a reasonable discussion about domestic affairs or politics? That's it.
God.
Yeah, no, she's gangster. Like she does. And like you said, there's been plenty of different articles either exposing or bringing up, but she's far right. Far right. I mean, she might as well be I think she was part of the Tea Party, stuff like that. She is really far. She is the type to come out of her house with that gun when no Black Lives Matter marches come by. That's her. That's her.
Oh, could be.
And she'll shoot.
But speaking of protests, Kim's favorite rapper. Kim's favorite rapper,
whatever they call him. What they call him? Hove.
These daggone unionists, again, Kamal's people, the far left radical lunatics, are out there interrupting Jay-Z's Oscar Gold Party, which I just think is another sign, obviously, that working people should, have less because, they have plenty of energy to bother Jay-Z. They're clearly well-fed and paid for. They should have either been working or resting for their next day of work. I don't understand what the issue is. But at Chateau Marmont, protesters didn't stop Emily, whatever her name is, Rosario Dawson, Michael B. Jordan, Zoe Kravitz, and plenty more from crossing the picket line. What?
What?
Straight up though, you wouldn't cross a picket line to go party with Jay-Z?
Fuck no.
Lying. You liar. You're lying.
Come on, man. That's just a bunch of people in there fronting, dog. Come on. Fronting. You probably couldn't even blow no trees in there. Why the fuck would I go?
Now that would be it. I would cross the picket line, but if you say that there's no smoking, then I would have to leave.
Gotta leave, man.
That would be it. And then you would find me out of the picket line. No Roger, no rerun, no rent. I dare you. Tell me I can't. But protesters were picketing Jay-Z's Gold Party on Sunday evening, March 27th, warmed up by having a party of their own. They erected a step and repeat at the end of Chateau Marmont's driveway, projected a logo reading boycott in massive blade lettering across the hotel's exterior, strung lights across Marmont Lane, donned glow sticks, led raucous chants, and played disco hits from a DJ rig. They should have just sat out there and played Ether on loop.
True.
That's what I would have done. If you want to psychologically terrorize Jay-Z, you just sit out there and play Ether all night long. Just fuck Jay-Z.
Well, it wouldn't have got heard over the Questlove spinning the tunes inside.
Jesus. So how hasn't this strike of that place been going on for, or a boycott been going on for that place for a minute? Yes. So this isn't like something that they couldn't possibly have known about, right? This is not like, I didn't know there were worker problems in this.
Well, no. But Jackie, it's only allegations of systemic racial discrimination and sexual misconduct.
And wage theft.
The blacks and the women who can't get none, because that's what
wage theft and wage theft. Shout out to the Unite Local 11 chapter. The Unite Local 11 chapter represents 22,000 hotel, restaurant, sporting arena workers in Southern California. And yes, this strike has been going on for over a year. And yes, I talked about this on my show yesterday, because I think, while we can say, that the Oscars are something that we shouldn't pay attention to, I think that there are working class issues, racial justice issues that we can take apart from the spectacle itself of the Oscars, right? So yes, I think thank you very much, Jared, for bringing this up. and fuck every single one of those celebrities that came through there and walked past the picket line to go in there and get their party on, and just don't believe these folks when they get on Twitter and talk about you stand united with blah blah blah. No,
no, they don't. No, they don't.
No, and Kim, I appreciate that, but I can't take any credit. In this instance, I am performing the stereotypical commercial media role. I am just the pretty face reading the work others have put together. And in this case, the shout out goes to Sister Erica, working with us from Brokish, who puts these stories together for us. So shout out to her.
The real pretty face out here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Erica.
I don't know why all that's necessary. That's not necessary. Kamal's face wasn't necessary. We could both be pretty. It doesn't have to be either or. All of that.
Y'all both pretty.
I mean,
he's just the pretty face with the bad camera. We'll say that.
Oh damn.
Oh goodness.
The prettier camera. Anyway, no, but no, in all seriousness though, I think all of this actually is sort of the perfect demonstration of the role and intent, politically speaking, of pop culture and fame and celebrity. They're there to resituate the narrative, to walk across picket lines, to turn up the music, to get a more famous DJ, all of the things you've all have mentioned, to drown out, literally, pun intended, the sounds of people protesting there specifically and across the world. So, you know, Jay-Z been putting damper. Yeah.
And to drown out the sounds of homeless people being forcibly removed every single year. This is like clockwork. Okay, they clear the encampments wherever the Oscars are being held, at the Dolby, or they were held in Union Station in downtown LA last year. This happened during the Super Bowl at SoFi Stadium in advance of the Super Bowl. Like, first of all, the policies of violence towards vulnerable folks is something that, again, that I don't think that we should miss an opportunity to talk about in the context of the Oscars, right? These people literally wearing millions of dollars of clothes and jewels, and yet the homeless people can't remain where they are in order to accommodate these elites.
Now, wouldn't it be perfect if one of those homeless that you're talking about had been one who migrated cross country, having been gentrified out of their home in Brooklyn when Jay-Z got rid of them on this side of the country, bringing in the Nets? Like, how perfect symmetry would that be in the abusiveness and the horror of it all?
Horrible.
Just real quick, I admit, Jackie, you talk about self-censorship. I'll admit some of my own on this. Did folks see some of the Judas and Black Messiah celebrations out there on social media? I'm just gonna leave it. I just leave it. I'm just uncomfortable with the whole thing. I admit I'm gonna be a hypocrite on this one. I'm gonna just let it go.
Explain more.
I don't know what I saw, and I kept scrolling. My point is, I scrolled past Fred Jr.'s Instagram because it looked like there was Oscar celebrations because Judas won Oscar and had several nominations, and I didn't want to see it. I admit it. I thought I saw what I saw, and I kept scrolling because I was like, no, that's too much.
No, see, I didn't watch the Oscars. I never.
No, I didn't even.
The Oscars.
I heard you all talking.
I didn't know anything.
I didn't know it was on.
Yeah. So I didn't even know. Like, I literally woke up Monday morning and I'm scrolling through the news, to prepare for the show and looking for what I'm going to write in the monologue. I'm like, what happened to who? Oh, Jesus. So I didn't know that Judas and the Black Messiah won an Oscar, but how fitting is it that the award show that the white people created for awarding movies that white people create for the Academy of members to vote on, that they choose for their white sensibilities, of course they would give an Oscar to the movie about the black ass agent. Yes, they would. Makes all the sense in the world.
I need some help here. Wait a second. What award did it win?
Daniel Kaluuya won Best something.
For that shitty representation.
I think did he get Best Actor or Best Support?
He actually won an Oscar for that?
Yeah.
What I tell you, white people awards for white people liking white people things.
Yeah. And so I didn't know that. So when I saw what I thought the celebration I thought I was seeing on IG, I did. I just kept scrolling. I was like, no. And then I looked up. I was like, are they really celebrating? And then I did look up that Judas and the Black Messiah got
recognized.
Got recognized. It had like several nominations. It got what was nominated? Wait, it was nominated. I'm just trying to look at it real quick here, but it was nominated for several: Best Supporting Actor, Best Actor.
Okay, this is all making a little bit more sense now, because people were saying that this was the blackest Oscars ever, and of course, I don't watch the Oscars either, but I didn't understand what was meant by the blackest Oscars. So, okay, this is adding some context. So, in addition to Beyonce,
it was the blackest Oscars because the previous ones have been so low rated that now I think they're trying to turn it into a black show to try to get black people who watch more TV than anybody else to begin to tune into the Oscars like it's relevant in our lives. So that's the only part of me that was sort of like the slap was staged. It was like, yeah, they're trying to do it. That's the only 99% sure it wasn't, but that was the only part that was like, maybe.
And
yeah. So yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
It won. So, but if it actually was staged for that reason, because it's like, because them blacks, they love themselves some celebrity drama.
Yeah, it was nominated for Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor, Cinematography, Music, Writing, but I'm trying to just see. I just wanted to confirm that he won a Golden Globe. I need to double check what the wins were for and what was going on. That's why I was a little hesitant to bring. I thought that I saw that they won. They got several nominations, and I thought I saw that Kaluuya won one of them, but. Look, I've never been more happy for a transition or segue to get Ear Doctor up here. It looks like he's on a stage that we should really be supporting and appreciating. Like, let me
say this real quick. Jared is a friend that you be talking to. Jared is a friend you talk to, and they be like, man, I can't. Never mind, dog. Never mind.
And you walking behind him down the street. No, man, come on.
It's like then it's like, tell a story. Oh, you want to tell it? It's way too late now to put it back in the bottle. You got to tell that story.
First of all, April Fools is gonna come up and they're gonna be like, "We got all y'all," because that was the Hollywood slap. It was none of it was real, and they got all y'all to talk. Your boy Chris Rock is selling mad tickets now for his concert.
Yeah.
Your boy Will was about to get some money for his book. Come on.
They doing a red table talk about the Oscar controversy. Man, come on, y'all.
They got y'all. It was funny to me. That's what I told you. I was sitting back watching. But check this out. We're gonna go to the break, and I wanted to talk about we giving an artist spotlight about one band that we didn't talk about. So let's get to it right here, right now. All right.
Remix Morning Show.
All right. What's good, everybody? Welcome out once again to the Remix Morning Show. I got this nut back here mowing his lawn or cutting his hedges, so I can hardly hear anything. So anyway, we was talking about bands. And we was like, listen, it's still Women's History Month, right? So what woman band came out that sparked a little noise and did their thing for a second? Can we talk about Climax? That's right, Climax. We did not talk about Climax. Climax is an all-female pop R&B band from Los Angeles, California. Their members are Bernadette Cooper. You got Lorna Shelby, Cheryl Cooley, Robin Grinder, Lynn Mosby, and Joyce Irby. Now, this band started back in 1979. They put out 2 albums. The first 2 albums was all right. Never Underestimate the Power of a Woman. And then they put out in 81, Girls Will Be Girls. But they didn't hit it big until they came out with a 1984 release of Meetings in the Ladies' Room. That's right, Meeting in the Ladies' Room. This right here had joints like The Men Are Pause When They Walk Into the Room. That was the joint. And then they had that ballad, I Miss You, I Miss You. That was the joint too. So you had that joint, and then you had The Men All Pause. That was one of their hardest albums. And you have Bernadette Cooper, who was a bad writer, and she pretty much produced other hits for Cheryl Lynn, Shalimar, Bette Midler, and Paula Abdul. So they did their thing. Later on, the people in the band started not feeling each other and was a problem. So the group was over with in 1989. They had some legal issues by using the name and everything. They reunited at the VH1's bands reunited, and they kind of squashed some things, and they got some more touring and some band stuff to do. So that's what it is. They came out with 7 albums. They also have a greatest hit album, and they got the singles, like I said, the most 3 known singles, like I told you, The Men All Pause, Meet in the Ladies' Room, and I Miss You. And also, think about it. The singer for the I Miss You, her voice was often compared to Michael Jackson's voice. Listen to it and see what they're talking about. So that's what it is right there. That is no other than Climax. So big up to Climax. Now let's take it back to the morning show. Now we do.
Shout out to Climax. What's up, LA?
Indeed. The Men All Pause was my show. That was my show.
And didn't remember any of that.
Be back real soon.
But when I listened to I Miss You, I was like, damn, she do sound a little bit like Michael Jackson.
I can totally see that. Yeah.
I was like, wow.
I never made that connection.
Right? Okay. That's what it is. So I'm gonna come back next break and we're gonna talk about bands. No genres, just bands that did their thing.
Oh Lord, it's going
no labels.
Firefight.
Submitted the winning list. So
no labels. Let's go.
No labels. Let's
go. Still want to do it? We can
do
it.
What up? Okay. Biscuits be on here. Where the biscuits be?
I already gave the winning list. So, but if you still want to do the segment, that's fine.
We didn't say top 500.
Oh,
but even that was a compliment. Top 500. You're giving it a lot of credit. Top 500.
Haters.
And then here comes Kamal with the kick.
Hey.
Wait till the lost tapes. Wait till the lost tapes show up. And it's gonna be a lot of apologies and sorries and my bads around here. But anyway, look, we got something serious because when the good brother Netfer hollers at somebody, you gotta listen. You know what I'm saying? He's like back in the day when people remember those E.F. Hutton commercials. When E.F. Hutton and Netfer start talking, you gotta listen. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna take it over to Cuba real quick and get caught up on some things on that side of the world. So. Or on this side of the world, but a little farther down south and to our left politically, right on. So let's get there. We'll be back in a second here at the Remix Morning Show. Right on. Welcome back again to the Remix Morning Show here at Black Power Media. Of course, we know at least more likely on this platform, at least we know 2/3 of us pretty well, but we want to also welcome to the show Quisha Bradley, who is an organizer in Pan-African Community Action, or PACA, an active member of the DC Metro Coalition in solidarity with the Cuban Revolution, the DC chapter of the International Women's Alliance, and the DC chapter of NAAPRP, the National Alliance Against Racism and Political Repression. Of course, she's joined by our good brother Netfer Freeman, who among many other things is also an organizer with PACA, Pan-African Community Action. He is on the coordinating committee of the Black Alliance for Peace and is co-host producer of the legendary show Voices with Vision on WPFW, the mighty WPFW right down the street in Washington, D.C. What's up, good people? Good morning. Welcome to you. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, man. Good to be back.
Peace, everybody. Thanks for having us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This needs to be, if it's not already considered your second home or home away from home, media on the run, whatever you want to call it, Maury. Ooh, media on the run eating. Anyway, what's going on in Cuba? What's the latest? What brings you here this morning? And at any point that you're ready, or if you wanted even to start with it, we do have that video we can pull up and let folks know about.
You want to go first, Quisha?
Yeah, we could start with the video, right?
Okay, sure. I'll pull that up now. You want to give us a quick heads up as to what it is?
Sure.
I'll pull it
and
up
y'all messed me up a little bit. I was already ready to come speak. Now I got meeting in the ladies' room in my head. I was like, that's my jam. Hold on. Be back real soon. Okay.
Oh,
so
what?
And I
got some bars.
Nepa and I are here as two co-coordinators, 2 out of 3. Our third co-coordinator, Mahmud Nahu, is on West Coast time and not able to join us right now. But we are 2 of the 3 co-coordinators for the 15th International May Day Brigade of Voluntary Work in Solidarity with Cuba. It's also the 63rd anniversary of the triumph of the Cuban Revolution, and in tribute to Commander Che Guevara in the 55th anniversary of his fall in combat. So the last trip of the International May Day Brigade was in 2019, due to COVID, of course, the COVID-19 global pandemic, where this year is going to be our first year back. You'll see a little bit more in the video, but let me give you a bit more information. So the International May Day Brigade will take place from April 23rd through May 8th. As we all know, May Day is celebrated around the world, right, as International Workers' Day, starting from the Haymarket Riot of 1886 in Chicago, Illinois, to now being internationally celebrated and really focusing on the general social and economic achievements of international working class and the labor movement. I think I'll stop right there for now.
Okay. Nefa, did you want to say anything, jump in?
No, I mean, I think we should play the video. I'll say this about the video. I don't know if this is what the one that Quisha thinks it is. This is not that extended one. This is 60 seconds of May Day, May 1st in 2019, just a procession, just to give, I mean, people got to see this. Just take note of what you're looking at visually, and then we can go into it after. And in fact, there's no words, so we can even talk over it, but if we can. But I think it's, I won't talk over it because there's some audio there. Let people listen to that.
Man, all of these people look wildly oppressed under the yoke of dictatorship and socialist violence and nightmare.
Well, you know, people don't know. They're forced to come out there. I mean,
they must be.
You know, so that's the only way they can get all those people to come out there.
You can't. How else would you get all these people out
why
there?
We got to be out here doing all this.
And of course, right. And of course, what is this was May Day celebration, and May Day is just quick for our extended audience. I'm sure the remixers are clear, but but May Day is meant to commemorate what exactly?
Yeah.
Why are they there? Other than the coercion they were forced under, why are they there?
I wanted to give my quick shout out to all the crew on here this morning, even those who are not here. I know everybody. Jacqueline Lukman, who's also a PACA member, and BAT member, got to put, and Kamal Franklin and Kim. We just met Kim, and we did interview, Voice of a Vision, did an interview with Kim about Brittany Griner. That was tight. So just got to shout out people. And y'all have become my staple for all those morning shows that come on corporate media. I don't know how I lived without this one for me, y'all. And so anyway, I had to get that in there. I wanted to there's no way else but to just put that in there right then and there. I thought it was going to be an easier segue. But International Workers
that's all good.
Day.
That's why we did this. That was the whole point. None of us wanted to be watching that whack stuff either, and we're all up in the morning. That was the whole point. That's that anyway. So we're glad you appreciate that.
Yeah, man. And so International May Day, also known as International Workers Day. I mean, I'm not all this history buff in it. Actually, I think the beginnings of it were in the United States. With it's interesting how some of these international days, like International Women's Day, International Workers Day, there's something else too that I can't think of, that have their roots in radical revolutionary politics, and even in the United States. But the United States has either co-opted and made it something else, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Cuba, so now International Workers Day, known as May Day, is celebrated all around the world and has been pretty much adopted by the working class around the world, and it's pretty big outside of the United States now, and it's biggest most renowned in Cuba. And so what we were seeing there was the procession on May 1st that happens. I mean, it's huge. I don't even know how. I mean, that little clip doesn't do it justice. If you were to think about the density of people and how it went, the little bit my video could get from one end to the next, but then that was 60 seconds. We were standing there for, I was well over an hour. I don't know how long, and it never thinned out. It was like that and just kept going, and you could get closer. I have more clips, people have made, and people are like, you clearly, appreciating it, loving it, different contingents within it, representing, I don't know, all kinds of people, Cuban sectors of Cuban society. And sometimes there would be contingents of different countries inside there, or organization within a different country. But it was thick, it was dense, and it goes on, and it gets to refute all of the propaganda and lies about Cuba. It's a real working people's revolution. I hate putting this in. It's like this concession to liberals where we all got to say it's not perfect. It's like ain't nothing perfect. I don't know why, but I guess they got me with that one, having to put that in there. But it's the most revolutionary country in the world, and what we're going there for, like Quisha mentioned, is it's a May. So during May Day, or during the leading up to May Day, a little bit before it and a little bit after it, and why we came on the show today, and I don't want to jump my thoughts around, but I want to get this in, is that we're trying to build this contingent, the U.S. contingent, other contingents coming from around the world, and they're representing these countries and different countries. We're trying to build the U.S. contingent, and we want to also ensure that its composition, as much as possible, is of the radical Black tradition, and particularly up and coming youth that want to take up that mantle, or at least, I don't want to say dare I say, but just the non-white radical, population demographics in the United States, working class demographics. And so it's coming up pretty soon. We probably, if we could have reached that earlier, we would have, but right now we have a short window of time. We're just trying to get as many people who are able to comply to put in an application. There's a cost involved, but we're going to explain all of that in the time we have. But that was May Day. That clip was a little small bit of how Cuba does May Day. That was in 2019, and both Quisha and I were on that contingent. I've been able to experience May Day a couple times. That was my first time being part of this brigade. But yeah, that's
and what you're talking about is this here. The brigade that will be, and this is the date range going to Cuba, April 23rd to May 8th. Right. And so you need people to get applications in, and where do they go to do that?
Right. So I don't know how to put stuff in the chat here, but there's the website for the National Network on Cuba is nnoc.org. And then if you do nnoc.org/Mayday, in fact, do Mayday Brigade application, just go right to the quick and put hyphens between the words Mayday -Brigade -application. That'll take you right to it. nnoc.org/Mayday -Brigade -application. and that'll take you right to it, and it'll have the cost and the application you can download and get it right in. We had to extend the application. It was a little bit challenging getting this one together a bit more because of the this is the first one since 2019 because Cuba had to stop doing it because of the pandemic. And so this is the first one since 2019, and it presented other challenges as most people, if anybody's done any international travel, the pandemic has presented challenges with international travel. And then when you coordinating something as big as this, then and then for on the Cuban side, they're coordinating not just the U.S. contingent, but other contingents from around the world. But so it took a little bit while. We had to go ahead. I'm sorry, Quisha, go ahead.
No, I was going to jump in while the homepage. I was going to jump in while the homepage was showing to show if you go to nnoc.org, it's actually on the homepage as well. You'll see the brigades right there. Visit Cuba, brigades and delegation, just under the home button, and you can click on that in case you don't remember all of the hyphens with the Mayday Brigade.
Yeah.
And right now, applications are due not this Sunday, but the Sunday after next. We know, like Nefa said, that's a tight turnaround. And we do have 2 prep meetings coming up. I'm just trying to get the information. I don't know how much time we have, so I'm just.
We actually don't have much time at all. Yeah. What I was open to get to hear from both of you just very quickly is why you encourage people to go to Cuba. Why are you encouraging people to sign up and apply to go?
Right. So
you want to start? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, like we said at the beginning, we love the Remix Morning Show because of what the actual news, the realness you all bring, just like we love Voices with Vision, not for the politically faint of heart. If we leave it up to corporate state media, if we leave it up to quote unquote education system, we will never learn about the true Cuba present day, but even the gains from the Cuban Revolution and how that impacts all of us worldwide, but specifically Africans, right? So the reason for showing that clip is to say, look at what it looks like to have over 1 million people gathered in Havana peacefully celebrating. You didn't see police, you didn't see guns. It was just certain things you have to just experience, right? And Cuba is one of those things. Come to the country. Also, while we're there, we have there's an international solidarity meeting. So you get to learn more about what's happening in other countries and how their relations with Cuba goes. I'll stop right there.
And we travel throughout the country. We don't just stay in Havana, but there's there's work brigade. I'll say three, I guess, quick things to your question is like, one is that we are trying to also increase those in the U.S. who can build a formidable opposition to the blockade, U.S. blockade against Cuba. That needs to be done. And this is one way of doing it. When you get there and you experience it, and you're going to be more likely to do that. You'll see how it affects. You'll also, see a lot of other things. Another thing is that building an international movement. I think this trip helps. Many trips like this, not just to Cuba, anywhere, help build anti-imperialist movement that we really need. So it means you go there, you get to meet other people from other countries, really leftists in other countries that are talking, and you keep those connections. You take them with you when you leave. And then the last part of it is you get to see what a real working class, and we're building a working class anti-imperialist movement, and so when you go there, you're building with Cubans and you're meeting with Cubans, but you're also meeting with other people. And these kind of conferences and things like this are really indispensable for us really making the kind of connections we need to make. And that's what I would say in terms of why we go.
Well, right on. Listen, you're welcome back at the Remix, obviously, anytime you all want, and even if you want to talk more about that this week, you're welcome. If we can work it out, you can come on my show a little bit Friday morning if you want as well. Okay, we can talk and expand the conversation some more. But the point is, folks, definitely check out nnoc.org if you're all interested or it's possible for you to potentially go, and obviously support the great work of Pan-African Community Action, Black Alliance for Peace, and all the associated other organizations represented here. Quisha, it was great meeting you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Netfa, of course, good to see you again as well. You're both, again, always welcome here in the Remix and beyond at BPM. So thank you both very much.
Thank you.
And we'll keep it moving and get back to the Remix Morning Show. Thank you. Peace.
Bye.
We know you. Definitely big shout out to them.
Very cool.
Thank you very much. Right on. It was great to hear from them. And I definitely want to go back to Cuba at some point. Gotta go. Everybody gotta go. And
I desperately want to go to Cuba. I mean, like with desperation. I would like to go to Cuba. Can you defect to Cuba?
I've been there 6 times. 6 times.
But can you elect to stay there? Like, can you defect?
Of course, you can defect. You can do anything you damn want once you're there. They take you.
Yeah, I mean,
if they take you. I mean, there is no extradition treaty, but they can make their own decision on that.
Mm-hmm. What's the application process? Like, who do I talk to?
Bank robbery in the U.S. is one application.
If I survive, then yes.
Look, I'm
politically motivated, I should say.
Yeah, shout out to Netfa, shout out to Latrice and Voices of Vision. It was a real pleasure for me to be on WPFW radio. I mean, I can't even overstate how big of a deal that was for me and for my mom to be able to hear me on PFW. So thank you so much, Netfa, for that invitation. And shout out to Latrice as well. Thank you, guys.
That's when your mom feels you made it. She's like, I listen to that station. You on the station I listen to. I listen to that internet stuff. But now you're on a real live station.
Now you're on a real FM
station. Yes. And PFW is the realest station in DC. So let's get that correct.
The last one.
No question. Yeah, absolutely. And again, shout out to Katia Stitt. Just got to deal with, we were again commemorating Askia Muhammad the other day. It's always good, even in that negative, unfortunate situation, it's always good to get to build with Katia and the good folks at WPFW. So no doubt. Shout out to all of them. Listen, we got to get back over to the beauty salon and get this top 5 band
of all time.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
I cannot wait.
Let's see if he got if any of those ladies in there, anointed him with oil, because they getting their hair right.
Hey, I got bundles over here. 2 for $5. 2 for $5.
Bundles. 2 for $5.
2 for $5.
All right. We get back to you.
We'll talk bundles.
Selling them women mop hair like that.
Hey, I'm just trying to make a living over here, man.
5 bundles.
That's the problem.
On deck. Hey, so real quick, we're gonna go ahead and get to that. But before we do get to that, can I give a shout out to some of our Patreon members? Big up to Frank Norma John, big up to Andy A. Williams, big up to Taxman, big up to Michael Craig, and big up to Kay. Big up to all y'all, our Patreon members.
True.
Thank you.
No doubt.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you for having your credit cards working. Appreciate it.
All right, Kamal.
All right,
can't with Kamal, man. He ain't right.
Remake.
All right. Once again, welcome out, y'all. Welcome out. So we are here to talk about the top 5, my top 5 bands of all time. Now, this was a hard decision, but this is what I came up with real quick. All right. So first of all, we got to put no other than Parliament up in there for top bands. I mean, you talk about a crew of band members that had their own identity and the whole nine, and just could get on stage and rock out without even having anybody get on the microphone. So let's give it to them. Next, I would like to give a big up to the JBs. The JBs. That's right. James Brown's band. We got to give it up for the JBs, because come on, man. So many samples came from this band. Let's stop playing. Let's give them their props. Now, y'all might not know about this one, but I'm going to put y'all on. All right. This right here is called Cola Labotis. This is Fela's band. Now, when we talk about a band, we talk about dancers, we talk about mad people playing horns, drums, piano, all that. I mean, one of the biggest bands you're going to see on stages. That's right, Fela's band. Next, we're going to take you to no other than Rare Essence. That's right, Rare Essence has to be on there because it's a band. I mean, they go without them. It's come on now, stop playing. You played yourself if you don't put them on your list. All right, next we're gonna take it to the Roots. Yeah, that's right. I gotta put the Roots on there because they represent one of the last bands. One of the first in hip hop would be Stetsasonic, but after that, Roots. They carried it from all the way from the 80s to now and still doing it. And I want to, while we're here, I just want to give a big up to Prince and the Revolution. I want to give a big up to Roy Ayers and his band. And that's what it is. So those are my top 5 bands. Now let's see what these guys got to say. Let's go. Right.
Interestingly enough, Ear Doctor, I don't have too much to say. I don't know if you could see me, but every time you named off somebody, I'm like, yep. Yes.
I'm also the fact that you mentioned Fela, okay. However,
and the fact that you threw in a little Prince of Revolution for me, I was like, you know what? I'm shutting up.
However,
the only
only what? However,
wait a minute.
No Bad Brains at all. No bad. You couldn't even go Fishbone. I get this. You can't take Bad Brains. I get it. But you couldn't even go Fishbone. What
Jackie, I was saving that for the Black Rock category.
You said no category.
You said of all band. You said no category. Jackie, big shout out to Jackie for those. Fishbone and Bad Brains. Those are some bad motherfuckers right there. That's a good shout right there.
All right. All right, because I didn't even mention reggae.
By the way, the only problem, of course, is that Mama's Biscuits is not on the list. Other than that,
who?
Mama's Biscuits, the greatest funk band in Western Maryland, 1997,
always gonna
1999.
Run a campaign for Mama's Biscuits.
That's right. Until we in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Get some recognition.
Damn.
But
I'm like, that nigga must be high right now. What's going on?
Wait till the Lost Tapes.
Slim, y'all might not
even
make it to Maryland. Y'all may not even make it to Maryland, the DMV Hall of Fame.
It's gonna be some apologies. But no, man, Ear Doctor, straight up, man, that was a really good list. I have zero complaints. I think you hit all the marks. Jackie's additions notwithstanding.
Oh yeah.
You know, the Wailers too, though. I would add
the Wailers. Yeah, I didn't go reggae.
Right, that's a good one. That's a good one. No question.
Yeah. So one day, Mama's Biscuits gonna make it in the Hall of Ain't.
Already there. They're already there. You're right. Already there.
Wait till my documentary drops. Wait till my VH1 documentary
drops. They'll get a blammy from the Ear Doctor, B. What?
You remember in Along Came Polly where dude was having a fake VH1 and Kevin Hart. That was actually Kevin Hart playing a sound man in that movie. That's what I feel like right now. I'm gonna have a fake VH1 crew following me around for my fake Where Are They Now documentary.
Oh, Lord.
The Time, right on. That's another. Yeah. And I didn't know they were beefing with the Prince estate though. That's. Didn't
I hear that here on Black Power Media?
Did I hear that here? Maybe that's where I heard it.
Somebody reported that. I think that Prince's estate was preventing Morris-Day in the Time from performing as Morris-Day in the Time, which, you know, I don't know the details, but that makes me scratch my head. I know Prince could be very cantankerous sometimes about his shit, but I mean, isn't that his cousin? I mean, I know Prince is gone, obviously, but I'm talking about his estate.
That's the problem that I have.
Wait a minute, Prince is related. Prince and Morris-Day are related?
Oh, good Lord, son!
I didn't know that.
Come
on! I agree. Whatever whipping I need, I did not know.
We're gonna drag you in to some consciousness by the end of this.
Oh my God!
One way or another,
Thank you.
Not know they were cousins.
I would take the Brothers Johnson off that list because they suck live. They suck live. They were terrible. They're terrible live. They are horrible live.
Hold on, Jackie. What years did you see Brothers Johnson perform live? These are the questions I need to know. If it's 80 anything, I gotta say.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't 80s. It was like in the 20s. Oh, they were bad. It
the
was
20s.
Yeah.
Maybe they were high that night. I would give them benefit of the doubt.
Entirely possible, but
I'll give them benefit of the doubt.
No.
That music they lay down on tracks, though.
That was dope, but I mean, if you can't back it up live, I gotta kind of question.
That's true. I mean, they were a band. That's what you want the band to do.
Perform
That's
live.
a good shout too. Rick James, Stone City is
for sure. And then somebody also bigged up Cameo. I don't know about Cameo's live performances, but Cameo was legit R&B band.
Yeah, legit. Yeah.
So, but the thing with the estate thing that bothers me is that often is the case is that the artist has nothing to do with it. It is the inheritors, the legal folks, who knows who's actually making this decision, or I don't know who's actually making the decision. But I doubt very seriously because it seemed like Prince wasn't preparing or
no will, no nothing. Yet. My man was like, whatever, let Jehovah take care of it. Jehovah. He's like, I'm out. When I'm out, I'm out. Yeah, people are disputing your cousin reference in the chat. Let me just throw that out there.
I mean, they might be right. I mean,
it's something.
I had always heard they were related.
I never heard it, and I know. I'm saying I know Prince.
Right. If you'd have known Prince, why didn't you tell him to make a will, Kamal? He's supposed to be an attorney.
I should have told him.
Tell him to find a better
now
way
you got his
of
music on commercials. That like anytime the artist dies and it's left to the family is usually about making that dough.
That's right.
So anything that they wanted and anything that the artist wants anyway, the family is trying to get around it. ASAP is like, can I make some money with this commercial? Can we put Prince's music on a brisket commercial? Whatever we need. Whatever
Even
we need.
The King family.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
As a fan of Prince's music, Kamal, like a big fan, super fan, like given we know how miserly, I guess we could say he was about letting his music out, and then to hear it in all these places where that he would not be with that shit. Like, does that make you feel some kind of way? Like
it's not honoring the legacy. There's plenty of ways to get, particularly, everybody knows once you hit on a commercial, it begins to cheapen it a little bit. You just feel like a little bit like, really, to sell a car? This shit? To sell a car? When people want the dough, sometimes people need the dough, but sometimes it does. It makes you search harder for like the B-sides and all that kind of stuff. In Prince, no pun intended, because he had the whole B-side stuff, but
Kamal, you would love Paisley Park. Like Paisley Park, when I went to Paisley Park? I took my mom to Paisley Park because my mom.
I would take back 3 Cuba trips to get 1 Paisley Park trip. So
they got nonstops from Atlanta to Minnesota, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, the super fans, the Prince super fans were there, right? But then when you go there, it's like, oh, the white people are absolutely in charge around here. Like, it is white people greeting you, it is white people guiding you, and it's like, I don't know how I feel about this, but okay, we're gonna. I
do have a friend, my boy. He was with. I'm not going to talk too much. He was like, one strike I have against Prince that he became good friends with Van Jones, and so they were really good friends. Apparently, he gave money, and a good friend of mine got to travel to Paisley Park. But one of the things that there was a restriction on no video recording and no picture taking. My man did, and Prince was and Prince was like performing in the band, like they were performing live for them, because apparently he was always rehearsing. He was always doing the music, and they just got to sit there for like 2 or 3 hours and watching my man perform. And because my boy was sneaking pictures, and at one point security walked up to him and was like, "You can't take pictures." He's like, "Oh, I'll delete them all." Of course, he didn't delete them all, but so I got to see some of that stuff.
Wow,
but that's as close as I got.
Yeah. Well, it's open. If you got $100 or whatever.
He dead. He dead.
Well, we just got paid. I got $100. Yeah, y'all just paid.
It is an experience. I think Prince fans would enjoy it. And plus, usually for Black music stuff, we don't have those. We don't have Gracelands and kinds of shit. So I appreciate Paisley Park for that. But then you get there and you're greeted by
and the white people running it.
And the white people are running it. That's like, okay, we'll take the credit card now. It's like, Okay.
And he got no kids, so I think it's all his siblings.
Yeah.
Who had their own back and forth who were running the estate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you brought up somebody with the King family. I mean, again, not that I hold the Nobel Peace Prize in any high esteem, but their father sure did. And they just auctioned that shit off. I think only the one sister was opposed to it, and she was trying to hide it for a while, and she didn't want to give it up. And they went to court to force them to say, like, no, we want to auction this off because we need that.
Good grief.
How much did it sell for?
I don't know.
I hope it wasn't
probably not as much as all that aggravation cost them to have to sue to sell it.
Well, they were beefing a lot. They beefed a lot over a lot of copyright issues over a number of years. So, I mean, and which is equally sad when you talk about cheapening a message. You hear Dr. King's voice selling cars and computers and
McDonald's.
It's pretty gross. But that's all right, because the flip side is never mind. Let me leave that man alone. The flip side, of course, is that McDonald's supports Roland Martin's show, so it's a win-win for all of us.
Yeah. We
win back around to win for Black America.
They take it and they give it.
Yeah.
They take it and they give it. So listen, I guess we could get to a couple more. Speaking of I guess taking and giving away, there are a couple other stories here where oh man, you gotta love how I love how the rich people do it. You gotta love this thing that they have for externalities. They got this love affair with externalities. Let's make other people pay for all our shit. New York taxpayers will pay $850 million for Buffalo Bills' new stadium. We don't win Super Bowls. We don't win Super Bowls, but we win. But we win. Whoops, my bad. Whoops. Sorry about that. I was trying to put us all back to the side. My bad. I don't know.
Like that's my team.
I didn't know how much I. Oh, there it is again. I didn't know how much. There we go. I didn't know how much I enjoyed the Buffalo Bills. Anyway, so I don't know if there's much more to say beyond the headline, but it's just one more time that the rich don't pay for anything, and yet poor people and working people are told that there's never any money for them, and this may be why, because they'll be on the hook for $850 million in construction costs for a new stadium under a deal announced by New York Governor Kathy Hochul. Is that how you say the name?
Let's go with that. Let's go with that.
I think
on Monday. All right. So anyway, I don't know.
I mean, let's just be clear. Like we need to abolish the NFL. Okay, like the NFL is a harmful public entity, harmful to public health of its employees. Not only just the players, but seemingly women who work in front offices are routinely subjected to sexual harassment that is a part of the culture. But they suck up public money, public resources. Then they try to give people not living wage jobs to come have the privilege of working at this stadium, which probably displaced potential stadium workers from their neighborhoods that they've been in a long time. And I don't see how the NFL really is going to be able to sustain itself. Like there's a big talk here locally in the DMV about where the Washington Commanders are going to play. And all of these municipalities, state of Maryland, Commonwealth of Virginia, not DC, to Mayor Bowser's credit. I don't give Mayor Bowser credit often, but Mayor Bowser is like, whatever, nigga, y'all can come here, y'all can't come here, I don't care. But Maryland and Virginia are falling over themselves. Like, we'll give you $1 trillion, $1 billion in tax incentives. Just please bring your racist fucking franchise to here.
It's racist, shitty franchise, let me say.
Girl, Carson Wentz. Can we talk about the Carson Wentz trade? No, we're not going to do that. But I'm just saying.
But Kim, I do want to ask you about another quarterback real quick. Now that you mentioned it, because I got a notification the other day that my pre-order for the RG3 tell-all book was canceled because the book's not coming out anymore. And then I happened to flip around and I turned around and see him on doing news analysis on ESPN, and I was like, "What?"
Funny how that works, isn't it, Jared?
I was waiting for. Yeah. So anyway, I did mean at some point to ask you if you had it or were following that or had any insight on that or because I was waiting for he broke my knee, he abused the women. I was waiting for the whole joint.
Who got to him?
Somebody did.
NFL through ESPN.
They're like, look, here, take this position at ESPN and shut the fuck up.
You'll make more money there and you would all that travel you got to do to sell those books of yours.
And you know that wife of his was like, this is a good deal. This is a good deal. His wife was like, no, this is a good deal. Let me go.
I was so disappointed when I saw that email notification. I was like, damn it.
Right. Jared is like, no, keep my $23. I want the book. So apparently, so y'all saw everything that I saw. Like when RG3 first made this announcement himself on his social media using a video of him talking about how he was going to detail the sexual harassment I inferred from when he talked about sexual harassment, I inferred that he was talking about sexual harassment of himself, right? Like that's kind of how I took that. And of course, the Washington football team franchise has a horrible record of player health. What's the guy who went? Y'all know it in the chat.
Trent Williams.
Trent Williams. There you go, Gerard. Right. Trent Williams said y'all left a hole in my head for years. And anyway, he went to the 49ers. But yeah, so RG3 was allegedly going to come out and tell all about that. And now that is no longer. And RG3 is on ESPN. So again, those things are probably not related at all.
Not at all. Yeah, when he announced the whole sexual harassment thing, I took it to be about the front office sexual harassment that has been the hush-hush allegations, for not even years, fucking decades, with the cheerleaders and everything, all of that. And so that's what I didn't even think about, him being, nothing is outside of the realm of possibilities in NFL front offices and locker rooms. But yeah, that was a real slick move. It's like, oh, he's gonna expose it all. He's gonna confirm the rumors, and then he's on ESPN, and I'm like, oh, so no rumors confirmed, no. Okay.
And if somebody has a link, please send it to me. But I'm gonna find my bright red Washington Commies shirt with marks in the middle. That's what you're gonna wear to the game. I'm gonna wear it. Not to the game, but I'm right in the area, especially because if I'm outside the game. The last time I went to a game, we were protesting outside. That's the only time I go.
Braves game. I remember I protested. I can't remember for what anymore, but I know I was out there. But you guys, I'm gonna do it, Jerry. I'm gonna pull a J.
I would have signed fuck football.
Football.
Now Kim took it to another level. She was like, "Fuck the whole league."
Abolish it.
Get them out of here. Get them out of here, man. Like, look at the Super Bowl, y'all. If y'all see how dirty they did the unhoused residents in and around SoFi Stadium, not to even mention the gentrification of Inglewood. Like, Inglewood is the black spot, and it was so telling for Dre and Snoop. Like, these niggas been shouting out Inglewood on their records for years and years and years. And here y'all sell out asses up here performing, singing and dancing for Roger Goodell in Inglewood where people had to lose their... Come on.
All those good jobs in the NFL, black people gonna lose.
That's what black folks are not gonna be with her on that, particularly support the player families, black and or white, or just but they're gonna be like, Kim, slow it down. Let's do some reform.
Come on, Kim. Let's get Jay-Z to negotiate. Get Jay-Z to negotiate.
And this is where I come back to Carson Wentz, because there is no other. Okay, fuck it. If football's gonna live, whatever. There is no perfect market for Colin Kaepernick to come play than DC. DC probably has the most tolerant fan base, or maybe least conservative fan base out of the whole country. And I think that Cap would be well received here in DC. I really do.
Not about an owner.
Well, that's the problem.
I like how the least conservative, not the most progressive, the least
not the most, but the least conservative.
Wait a minute, have y'all seen the new show on HBO? I think it's called Showtime. about the history of the Lakers and Magic Johnson.
Oh,
and
no.
You gotta watch that. Gotta watch that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like so far, good acting, good storytelling.
Oh, it's fictional. It's not like a docuseries?
No, it's a fictionalized version of what took place. But the actors, they found great actors to play them. Some things are just not sugar-coated in terms of just the grimy way in which the NBA was running and the grimy owners and even the grimy players and the competitions and just the working class lifestyle. So a lot of
I feel like we got to let people know, Kamal, that Ear Doctor says it's good too. So I feel like we do.
He co-signed on that.
He said that about Master, and I watched that thing, and I want my time back, and I can't get it back.
That's what I'm saying. We got to let people know.
All I'm saying is it's got something for everybody. It's got something for everybody.
I'm just sitting there like, this is just garbage.
Somebody said Magic Johnson doesn't support it. That's how you know it's good.
Oh,
yeah, if he don't like it, then you know it's probably a little bit too accurate.
It's too accurate, right?
Yeah, too accurate.
I
didn't realize how much Magic was doing.
Wow.
Yeah, I just didn't.
You didn't know?
Not that much. At least the way it's being portrayed, and it is, it is a.
He was going for Wilt status.
Yeah, the way I was like, well, goddamn, B, Leave the rest alone. But it was like, well, goddamn.
Oh boy. Walk away, kids. Walk away. Walk away. Walk away. Hey, listen, y'all. We got 220 people rocking with us live right now. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat. What's up, remixers? Now, my computer says we have 103 likes. Now, surely that can't be right. So do us a favor. Let's try to get those live chat numbers to match that like. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Support Black Power Media, patreon.com/Black Power Media, and go to blackpowermedia.org to get your BPM. Yeah.
And I got to roll. Otherwise, I'm sorry. Yeah, I got to roll. I got to go to my day job on By Any Means Necessary on Radio Sputnik. I'm really excited. We are talking to two comrades today, Anya Sonu Chatoye with the All African People's Revolutionary Party, and she is a co-editor of Hood Communist, and my dude Phil Waledo down in Richmond, Virginia. Virginia Defenders for Freedom, Justice, and Equality, and with the Odessa Solidarity Network, talking about more Ukraine shit.
That's us. So we gotta go. We gotta go do our show. We're gonna see y'all tomorrow. We gotta go broadcast now. By any means necessary. They're attacking us. Me, Jackie, and Sean.
Oh my God! What am I gonna do with you?
Look at y'all, Destiny's Child.
What am I gonna do with you? Jesus.
Well. Shout out to the brother and good people in Richmond who may also be the home of the new stadium for the Washington Commanders.
Jesus, no,
they're in the running.
They don't have. Oh, that's a whole nother. Let me tell Phil. Let me ask him, and I'll report.
Tell Phil
what he says. That's because that.
I like how that sounds. No. Tell Phil.
All right, y'all. Peace. Talk to you soon.
Peace, Jackie. Thanks a lot.
Peace.
Anyway, how we gonna close this morning? First of all, everybody do as Kim suggested or said, instructed,
demanded.
Demanded.
It's a demand. It's a policy ask.
And get your and also go to blackpowermedia.org and get yourself a shirt and a mug and a hoodie.
I need a mug.
I ordered mine. I was hoping it would have been here by this morning, but
Can we revisit the stadium thing real quick? Because I had seen a breakdown about how this was going to go. So this is from Front Office Sports, a Twitter account at FOS. A cost breakdown of the new Bills Stadium per the Buffalo News. 600 million is coming from state quote investment. Okay. 350 million. Only 350 million is coming from the Buffalo Bills themselves. 250 million is coming from Erie County, New York, and 200 million is coming from the NFL through G4 loan program. I am not familiar with that. So this brings the upfront public financing to 850 million, 61% of the cost. So the people of New York State, Erie County, City of Buffalo are going to foot 61% of the cost of this new stadium? 61%. Oh, by the way, I think the owner is a big ass billionaire, of course, right?
Of course he is.
That's how you get to be one. You have everybody else pay all your shit. Yeah, that's how you do it. Well, that sounds. Listen, I remember in my most vivid memory are the examples of the Washington Nationals baseball stadium and the Baltimore Ravens, now M&T Bank Stadium. And in each case, as I know is the case everywhere in one form or fashion, there were all of in response to all the claim, the protest of, joblessness, displacement, all those gentrification, all of that, were the claims of it's going to give a whole bunch of jobs.
Bullshit.
It's going to bring revenue to the city. It's going to, and that will benefit local education and healthcare need. I mean, this is what, and as we see, Baltimore and DC are now clear of poverty and inequality. And,
well, let's not say DC, because FedEx Field is in Prince George's County, right?
Well, I was just talking about the Nationals baseball stadium.
Oh, I'm sorry, you did say Nationals. I'm sorry,
because it brought all of that revenue and saved the city. You might have missed that, Kim.
I'm sorry, I did miss that. Well,
this might be a generational difference.
So the interesting thing, so to me, there's a little bit of a difference, because when they put National Stadium there, like the city of DC, Washington, DC, like they really committed to revitalizing, let's say, that whole southwest part of the city, right? Navy Yard, all that. Like, so when you step outside a National Stadium, it's like a lot of shit there, right? Not necessarily the case at Raven Stadium, I guess, but as Baltimore's downtown continues to dwindle, because I think they have shut down Harbor Place, which is like the only mall or shopping area that is right there at the Baltimore Harbor, which is again shameful on Baltimore City elected leadership that they allowed that to happen, or at least they need to maybe repurpose that space for something for the kids to come do in the summertime, because they hate, Baltimore City does, they not the residents, but the leadership and the police hate when the kids come down to the harbor during the summertime and have fun or whatever. But if you look at FedEx Field in Prince George's County, like there's not much around it. You know what I mean? Like they just built this stadium. It's in a residential area. There's not much to walk to, like restaurants or anything like that. And the fact that Prince George's County, and I'm so disappointed, but expected, in our county executive, Angela Alsobrooks, they have proposed building another stadium for the Commanders in Prince George's County. This time, it's going to anchor downtown Largo, or what they hope for it to be downtown Largo. And it's like, y'all are going to finance 2 fucking stadiums for this same franchise in less than 50 years? Like this,
they did that in Atlanta. In Atlanta, they built a stadium. I couldn't be no more than 15 years old. And then they decided to do the Mercedes-Benz Stadium literally right next door. They literally tore down a stadium, which was couldn't have been no more than 20 years old, to build another stadium right next door. Made no sense whatsoever. It's like, you just got that stadium. Again, so publicly financed some of it. And then to get another stadium, and it just sailed through. And so, like, some of the things what Jay's talking about, all the promises of what a stadium will bring, and any statistical analysis that's been done over the past decades around all these promises and what actually happens shows that these stadiums don't add anything really to the economy that flourishes or makes anything close to what they promise in terms of unemployment and so forth. So,
I mean,
and then on top of that, you don't even win.
There is that. I mean, but the amount of influence, the amount of political influence that NFL and these local teams have on local politicians and governors and all that, like, it's a bit scary, because it's unchecked, right? Because all the local politicians, I won't say all, but a good majority of them tend to go along with this. Like, and regurgitate the same things that Kamal said. It'll bring jobs. It'll revitalize, economic, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, it's just like policing, right? Increasing police funding does not seem to decrease crime. And bringing these NFL stadiums, these taxpayer-funded NFL stadiums, does not seem to really generate much economic, shit.
It's the theme of the day. It's the theme of the day. Is like, because it's everything we've talked about. What happened to these politicians? They get excited they get invited to the owner's box.
That's right.
They get to go to the parties. They get to meet the players. It's the theme that celebrity wins out, and they'll get, maybe some of them will get a little extra money on the side for their reelection campaign, their favorite charity that their spouse runs, their kids get an internship, all that stuff happens. So that's what they like. Nope.
Well,
not that base, Kim.
I'm just sick of everything. I'm sick of all the things. I'm just tired of seeing not us, but them make the same sort of decisions that affect us over and over and over again. And nobody, and not enough people being slapped again. Like slapping, I think we need to re-examine slapping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if more politicians got slapped, they might be less inclined to go for some shit.
So that there was, when was this? This is a long time ago, when he was more in vogue nationally, but Newt Gingrich walked within striking distance of me at JFK Airport once. And I always have kind of regretted that I didn't take a swing just on GP, just like it, but it was kind of shocking at first. He had a little bit of an entourage, but nothing that could have, stopped that. Like, it wasn't like high security. And it was literally, I could have just taken a step and pop.
Hey man, I wish I could have yoked up Ann Coulter when I seen her one time. I was like, and she's like, let's just say she's lean. She's very lean and
rail thin, from what I can see.
Yeah, you just could have.
And I tried in the early 2000s when Bill O'Reilly got bucked on that young activist military dude. Do you all remember that? And then I think he tried to lay hands on him off air or something like that. There was like a real altercation with this dude. I forgot how it worked, but I think maybe through my grad school connect, there was like some intermediary that had a line to that show. Mm-hmm. And there was this discussion of, can we get Jared as a military vet and an anti-war military vet over there? Because I was all for it. I was like, if you want to, if that's what you really want to, especially 20 years ago, this is 20 years ago now. I was like, if you really Bill O'Reilly want it, because apparently he's tall and tries to physically impose himself on guests. Mm-hmm. And I would have been like, oh, absolutely put me over there. And I wish he would. Let's get. And then the question was, would I go on and just for the people, just smack him on live on national television? I don't know if I don't know. That would have been interesting. Yeah.
I Am Legend. That would be you if you smacked Bill O'Reilly on live television.
If I had pulled that off, that would have been but it never happened. The opportunity never made itself available. But I do remember that moment, and because it was right around the time. I think shortly thereafter, Dame Dash and Cameron went on there and joked him because he was clearly not going to get bucked with them like that. But
no, I love that. Anyway, that's one of my favorite television moments, really, of all time. And I'm not a big fan of Cam nor Dame, but I became a fan that day. I became a fan that day.
By the way, that was one other thing. One last word on this Chris Rock thing. I think he was wrong when he said this was like the greatest night in television or the most exciting night in television or something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't mean great in the sense of good, but there have been moments on live TV that beat that. I mean, including a number of suicides live on TV. There was famously in New York, there was that white politician during a press conference or he got caught in some scandal and shot himself right on TV. And then there was in the 70s, they even made a movie out of it. There was a news anchor, a news broadcaster, a woman who took her life live on air in the middle of a news broadcast, shot herself right on live TV.
Really?
I did not think you were going there, Jared. I thought you were going to reference another excellent television moment as when Old Dirty Bastard walked up on the Grammy stage and said, Puffy is good, but Wu-Tang is for the children.
But I was just thinking that would have been maybe, yeah. But I was just thinking, that's why I said not great as in good, but in terms of
sensational
big moments on live on TV like that, anyway. But that was all. That was it. That was it. Anyway, shout out to everybody. Great show. Another shout out to all the remixers. We appreciate you. Big shout out to Quisha and Netfa for coming through earlier as well. Please do visit blackpowermedia.org and get yourself some merch and support the growth of the channel. And we will be back tomorrow morning with more Remix Morning Show.
Peace,
everybody.
Peace, everybody.
Bye.
Get that merch.
True.
Somebody hit the outro.
Exactly.